We are hot into G1 season. We are 3 nights in at the point of me recording this video. Not off to a fantastic start in terms of match quality. Some intriguing things we've seen so far. Hopefully, we're going to start picking it up soon with a lot of really, really quality matches to be seen. But that's not what we're here to talk about right now. We are actually talking about another Japanese round robin tournament, that being the 5 Star Grand Prix from Stardom. And I have never watched Stardom before this year. I watched the All Star Grand Queendom. Probably one of my favorite wrestling events this year, behind Evolution, I would say. But other than that, not really a whole lot of competition in my mind for what can really beat it as the best show of the year. And it's got me interested in watching some more Stardom, going back and watching some of the other best matches this year, and also keeping up with the 5 Star Grand Prix this year. Now, I did some math earlier. I don't remember the exact number, but just in opening round matches, there is going to be 112 matches. That's too much. That is too much for me to watch. I simply cannot watch that much wrestling, especially when I don't think a lot of it is going to be great. And this is sort of my introduction to Stardom. This is my big jumping in point, saying I'm interested in watching Stardom. I want to learn more about people. This is essentially a showcase of here are 32 of the best wrestlers we have in the company. Come and watch them. And I'm saying, yes, I will go ahead and do that. So before I explain how I'm going to watch this tournament, let me explain what the tournament is in case you guys don't know. It's the same format as the G1 Climax from New Japan, as the Continental Classic from AEW. Essentially, in Stardom this year, there are 4 blocks of competitors, and each block has 8 people in it. If you are a competitor in A block, you face every other member of A block, so you have 7 matches in total. And if you win, you accrue a certain amount of points. At the end, the person who wins the most points in the block moves on to the semifinals and then eventually the finals. Now, I haven't really done a lot of reading or watching up on what the stakes for the 5 Star Grand Prix are, the history of it, anything like that. So that's about as much as I know going into it, is that it's essentially the G1, but taking place in Stardom. So, yeah, 112 matches is way, way, way too much. So, what I am going to do instead is what I did with the G1 last year, where I wasn't really interested in watching every single match. So what I did was I picked a series of wrestlers that were competing in the tournament and said, I'm going to watch every single one of their matches. And so long as I have a competitor from each block, I will get to watch every single wrestler in the tournament have a match, because you have to wrestle every other person in your block. The reason I want to do this with the Stardom is, one, because it would be too much on its own. 112 matches over the course of like a month. That's just too much, really, to keep up with. But also, this year I'm watching the G1 Climax in its entirety. I'm watching every single match, excluding the tag matches. Every single tournament match I am watching. And that is a lot of time, a lot of time to dedicate to that tournament. So I will have significantly less time to really dive headfirst into the 5 Star Grand Prix. I'm assuming actually what I'm going to have to do is really play catch up with it at the end of August into the early weeks of September, and catch up with some of the matches. So what I'm going to do is I am going to explain how I am going to watch the 5 Star Grand Prix, and specifically what wrestlers I'm going to be following. So this is an article I pulled up from Fightful from July 5th, so a few weeks ago, when the blocks were announced for the 5 Star Grand Prix. There's 4 blocks: the Red Star A, the Red Star B, the Blue Star A, and the Blue Star B. And what I've done is I've taken each block and I've picked 2 competitors from each block, where I'm going to view every single one of their matches. And what that will mean is, instead of viewing 112 matches, I'll only have to watch 52 matches, where I know I'm going to be watching people that I really like and I have seen before and I have liked before in my limited Stardom viewing, but also I'm going to be getting to watch them, wrestle with a bunch of other people from the tournament. And of course, if there's a really, really great match that happens outside of the people who I picked to follow, I will go watch that as well. But let's go ahead and go through some of my picks for who I am picking to start. In Red Stars A, I'm starting with Saya Kamatani, and I am going to butcher some of these names, by the way. I'll make that deadly clear up from the start. So I'm starting with Saya Kamatani because she had an incredible match at the 5-star, or at the All-Star Grand Queendom rather, and I'm referencing a spreadsheet that I have for reference. That's what I'm looking at on my phone when I'm constantly looking down. Great match at the All-Star Grand Queendom. It was her career versus career match. I'm trying to find the name. I'm sorry. Versus Tam Nakano. And really, really looked good in that match. So I'm sticking with her, as well as May Sarah. I assume that's how you pronounce her name. I also saw her at the All-Star Grand Queendom. She had a match with Suzu Suzuki, a death match that I really, really liked. I was thinking about going B. Priestley for this one, but I don't know how much she's going to be highlighted in this tournament because it seemed like she's not a regular member of Stardom, and she was just sort of pulled in as sort of a attraction piece in the tournament, I guess. So I'm not sure how much focus she's going to get, and if she's really going to have some longer great matches with some of these other people that will really display them in ways that having matches with May Sarah or Saya Kamatani will, which is what I want to see. Red Stars B was the hardest one to pick, mainly because I was down to the top 3, Starlight Kid, Azami, and Natsupi. I wasn't really sure who to go with here because I like all 3. Ultimately, I did go with Starlight Kid and Azami. They're just 2 names I know a little bit better, and people who I enjoy watching. And I know I enjoy watching them, so I have that ingrained trust in them. So where even if they're wrestling someone who I've never heard of, like Tomoka Inaba, I have no idea who that is, but when I watch the match, I'll already have investment in it because it'll be against Starlight Kid or Azami. So I'm picking those 2. For my Blue Stars A block, this is where the pronunciation is really going to go downhill. Saya Aida. I've only seen one of her matches, that being at the 5-star Grand Queendom. Who did she face? She was in a tag team match, that's right, which was a very fun match. She was sort of the standout for me in that match as someone I would want to see more of, so that's why I picked her. I also picked Saori Anu. I probably should have looked up these pronunciations before I did this video. I didn't even really think it would be an issue. What an idiot I am. I don't really know who this is. I just sort of went through Cage Match and looked at the ratings of all the wrestlers, and she was the highest, so I picked her. This was also one of the harder blocks, not because I had multiple choices who I wanted to see, but just because I didn't really have any choices. And lastly, Blue Stars B. This one was real easy. Sari, one of my favorite wrestlers I shouldn't say on the planet right now because that's definitely not true. One of the most impressive wrestlers who I've sort of discovered this year. One of my favorite Japanese wrestlers. My favorite Joshi wrestler, probably maybe Shuri. But either way, fantastic stuff there. And then I was debating between Suzu Suzuki and Momo Watanabe, and I think I like Momo a little bit more, so I did pick her over Suzu Suzuki, mainly because what I've seen from Suzu is her death match at All-Star Grand Queendom, and she wrestled Masha Slamovich WrestleMania weekend at a GCW show, and it's been fine. I'd like to see more of her, but Momo Watanabe I've seen have really, really great matches before with Mayu Iwatani. I've seen her on AEW with Mercedes Moné, so I think I would prefer to follow her a little bit instead. So that's how I'm doing it. I went through this list and I just picked 2 people from each block who I thought I would like to see and follow in this tournament. And if you are getting into Stardom for the first time, even if you're getting into New Japan for the first time and you don't really know who the competitors are, and you sort of want to just start learning about people, but not have to watch a lot of the lower card matches that go 7 to 8 minutes and won't really give you a good demonstration of what that person can do. My recommendation would be to take this sort of strategy where you get little bits of everyone so you can be introduced to everyone in the tournament, and then choose people who you will go out and research or who you continue to watch over the year. That's my strategy, at least. So now I want to hear from you guys. I want to hear what you think about the 5-star Grand Prix this year. Should I have picked different competitors than the one I picked to follow? Will you be watching the Stardom 5-star Grand Prix this year? And as you do, I would love to know what you think by leaving some stuff down in the comments below. And while you're there, subscription, leaving a like, turning notifications on, always helps a small new channel like mine to grow. Depending on how much I like the tournament and how much I hold myself to actually watching all of these matches, I may be releasing some Stardom content later this year, just discussing my thoughts on the 5-star Grand Prix when I eventually get around to watching it all. Who knows? And then maybe next year I'll be able to watch the whole thing. I'll be more invested in Stardom if I feel like it is a worthy investment of my time. This is really sort of the make or break thing for Stardom for me, if I will continue watching it and continue to release videos on it. But let me know if you want to see that down in the comments below. With all that being said, I want to thank you guys so much for watching. As always, I have been Isaiah from Hot Tag Wrestling, and I will see you next time.